Fordham is going to the NCAA tournament for the first time in program history. Stephanie Gaitley's third year, quite an accomplishment.
Last year, the Fordham University women's basketball team won its first Atlantic 10 championship in school history. New Zealand native Erin Rooney was the star of the team, and one of 3 international players on the squad. This year, the Rams have added 2 more foreign players, one from Latvia and one from the Netherlands. Recruiting overseas is nothing new for head coach Stephanie Gaitley, who's been doing this since the mid-1990s.
Well, the first kid that I recruited was actually in my last year at Richmond, which was 90-91, which we had a big kid coming in from Belgium. So that was the first kid that we were looking to bring in. So when I got to St. Joe's, what we realized it was a really untapped market.
One of Gaitley's first international recruits at Fordham was Slovenian guard Alina Gjerkes. The sophomore is in a very select group of athletes from her country, as she's one of the only women playing basketball in America.
I'm the only female basketball player that plays in first division. There's another girl that plays in second division. There were some girls that played before me, but they didn't, most of them didn't stay.
Coach Gaitley got Gjerkes to come to Fordham by making the 9-hour flight to Slovenia. Relationships are everything in international recruiting, and the personal touch makes all the difference.
I hate to travel, but I hate losing more. So if it takes me going over to make a personal contact, I'm going to do it. Because I realize with the international player, it's relationships. It's the personal contact. So in order for us to have a better shot at somebody, I'm going to have to go over. I know for Alina, we were involved with another school, and the head coach didn't come over because he was afraid to fly. So I think it had a lot to do with her decision-making.
Fordham's willingness to go the extra mile is the biggest reason why Britt Zappeij came to the Bronx. The native of the Netherlands had scholarship offers from other schools, but chose Fordham because the environment felt right.
This was my first school that I visited, and everything, I don't know, it felt like a family with coaches, with a team, and I don't know, just the people in general here are really nice.
Fordham found Gjerkes and Zappeij when they posted their international highlights on YouTube. The internet gives players overseas more exposure than ever before. But at the same time, international recruiting has become as cutthroat as domestic recruiting.
The international recruiting has become more of like a domestic recruiting. I mean, because of the internet, because of, all the game footage that's available online now. A lot of other schools are recruiting the same international players. So, as if for example, 8 years ago, we could have gotten a really good player that nobody knew about, to come to play for us, and now we're basically competing against, BCS schools to get that player to come.
Originally from Poland, Szumilo played her college basketball at Long Island University in Brooklyn. Szumilo can certainly relate to the challenges her foreign players are going through because she experienced them herself.
My coach was telling me when we got the rebound, and my coach was telling, give it up, give it up. He meant give it up because someone was ahead of me, pushed the ball up. I thought he meant give up. So I would literally hold the ball, slow down, and and it's a couple times before coach is like, what are you doing? It's like, well, you told me to give up. Give up means stop. He's like, no, give it up. So it was just kind of like an interesting story, funny story of just a language barrier.
While the historic Rose Hill Gymnasium has seen a lot of foreign female players over the last few years, it is now finally starting to see an influx of international male players as well. Canadian Nemanja Zarkovic and German Christian Sengfelder are 2 of the 4 international players on Fordham's men's basketball team. The 2 have become quite close and push each other to the next level, especially when playing one-on-one. For Nemanja, it has always been a dream to play in America.
There's a lot of Canadians that played and are still playing in the NCAA, but it was always a dream. And then it was only recently that I kind of figured out that I could actually play at this level, maybe 2 to 3 years ago.
Fordham became interested in Zarkovic after watching his highlights online. Zarkovic is just one example of how Fordham is trying to compete with the other teams in the Atlantic 10. You have to get pretty creative in trying to skin a cat or a Fordham Ram.
At a place like Fordham, in the league that we're in, we have to now get pretty, inventive in what we do to attract kids. And here we are, we have Eric Pascal, who's less than a half hour away from here, and now we have, a kid from Australia, and we have a kid from Serbia and we via Canada or vice versa, and we have 2 kids from Germany. So there's more than one way to skin a cat, and we just have to get creative in how we do things.
One of Fordham's best players this year has been Christian Sengfelder. The freshman from Germany is averaging 11 points per game and was just named the Atlantic 10 Rookie of the Week. Fordham is the perfect place for Chris because it marries the 2 things that are most important to him.
My decision was pretty easy for me to make it because I wanted to play basketball on a high level, and I also want to get education, and I think playing college basketball is basically the only way to do it. And you always dream about going to New York, living there for I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks for vacation, and now I live here for 4 years. It's basically a big part of my life right now. That's crazy. That's why I like going to Fordham.
Associate head coach Tom Parrotta got Christian to come to Fordham after flying all the way to Germany. Basketball has taken Coach Parrotta to some of the most interesting parts of the world, some a little bit less traveled than others.
I actually spent 36 hours in Siberia, believe it or not. When I was at Hofstra, I went over to recruit a player from Tomsk, Siberia. And cutting down on the competition, obviously, I went over there and there wasn't anybody there. In fact, the player was at his prep school in Florida, and I just went to do a home visit with his mother.
Fordham's international focus has led to success both on and off the court for the men's and women's basketball teams. While the women's basketball team has reached the top of the mountain, the best has yet to come for the men's team. Together, these 2 teams have proved that the future of American basketball has a distinct international flavor.
Oh! Bang, bang.